No, Rey, like this. You mean like this? Like this. Like this. One more time. Like this. That's what I'm doing. Like this. Like this. Like this. Like this. Surely like this. This. You sure it's not like this? Oh, like this. Whatever. I'm out. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm taking a look at the Hasbro Black Series San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Jedi Master Luke Skywalker and Jedi Training Rey. Why they didn't go for Padawan here, I don't know. It seems like they're trying to keep a distance from the prequels for whatever reason. Anyway, once again, I don't have the package here. I had to ditch it to get these home. And in the long run, I care more about the plastic than I do the cardboard. But before your fingers touch keyboard to tell me that the whole reason to get these was the exclusive packaging, I just have to tell you, I don't care. I don't really, seriously, when it comes down to it, I don't care about packaging. It's just extra stuff between me and toys. It's what keeps it out of everybody else's hands until it gets to me. Otherwise, it's junked. I want the toys. I want the characters. And I know there's some people out there that do collect for the packaging. They collect on the card. That's perfectly fine. But in my case, nope. Don't care. Looking at the sculpts, starting with Rey, this is not the same sculpt as the previous figure. It looks the same. Rey must have a thing for over-the-shoulder wraps that hang down below the belt, loops on the left side, and just hangs freely on the right. But there's a different kind of undershirt. You have the pants underneath. It's not the shorts. And then she actually has almost up-to-the-knee boots. So, yes, different costume and different from the Resistance costume, too. This is new. Once she finds something she's comfortable in, yeah, she's sticking with it, apparently. But the sculpt here is nice. The wrinkles, the undershirt has this kind of crosshatch pattern. It's really nice. Again, the wrinkles on the pants, the leather of the boots, leather wraps on her arms. And then the paint on top of that looks great too. There's not a lot of wash, not a lot of dirtiness to it, but the colors are where they need to be. And the skin tone looks really nice. And speaking of skin tone, you get up to the head, and it's awful nice up there too. It's not the photo reel that we've been teased with, and I'm going to bring this up with every Black Series figure I review until we get that in hand. But the skin tone's nice. She's not wearing makeup or any of that kind of stuff, but it's a nice natural look. The hair is a little bit just plain brown, but the sculpt to it, I like the tie in the back, kind of the ponytail look. But I do have a problem with her eyes. And right out of the package, it was painted crooked. It's weird because the eyebrows are straight, the lips seem to be straight, but you look at the eyes and the left one is just falling down the side of her face. Looking at it super close, I think the right is a little bit high, and then the left is more than a little bit low. I think the sculpt's there. It's just the tampo on top of it missed for the eyes. Now getting over to Luke, the sculpt, again, super nice here. I love this look. It's kind of that Jedi Master look, but the white is different than what we've seen so far, at least overall. We've seen some white integrated into some Jedi costumes in the prequels. Here, it's just a lot of white and then a very light gray. Underneath, he has a pants sculpt. It has a texture to it. The wraps on his legs kind of call back to that farm boy look. The Jedi robe's over it. But I think my favorite part is the mechanical hand. It's a little bit dark. It could use a dry brush of a silver or something, but I just love the concept of it, and it comes across really well here in the sculpt. Get up to the head, and he still has that kind of G.I. Joe look to it, but at least the eyes here are fairly straight. And really, looking at the sculpt, it looks like an old Luke. I put him beside a younger Luke figure, which I guess Luke has one of those faces. It's hard to capture. But with the beard and with his hair, it's a little bit easier to get. He has more defining features. The younger farm boy Lukes we've gotten so far from Hasbro has been very rough. This, I feel, looks a little bit more like Luke. And then the paints, unlike Rey, here on the top, the base color is a darker gray, and then a lighter gray is dry brushed over it and the beard. On Rey, this top sash is a separate piece. It's not part of the torso. It's a rubber piece kind of glued down to it. It's meant to stay there. I wouldn't go tearing at it. And the bottom robes are fairly soft, so they get out of the way of forward motion of the leg. I do have a kind of scuff of dirtiness here. I can chalk that up to, she's training. Maybe she's getting knocked around. Maybe she got bruised. Maybe she got dirty. But man, that left eye just ruins it for me, I think, for the most part. That, and she looks just very bored. You put her into action pose, and it just kind of doesn't work. She comes out with a holster, which is very interesting for a Jedi in training, but she doesn't come with a belt loop for the lightsaber. Whereas you get over to Luke, and he does have a loop for the lightsaber. It's very soft. It's very hard to hook on there, but it does hook on there. So, anyway, the lower robe part is split on the sides, so it can get up and away for leg movement here. But because of how it's made, it kind of concaves when it comes up. It's not terrible, though. Depending on how The Last Jedi turns out, just how flippy Luke is, I'll probably just have him standing off in the master role, you know. Do this, do that, do this. Going over articulation, there's a ball going up into the head with a hinge at the neck, but because of how this hair is sculpted, just right around the shoulders and back, she can't look up at all. She can look down, she can turn side to side, not a lot of tilt. Hinge and swivel at the shoulder, comes up to 90, swivels around, but because of the costume, it kicks out at the top. Hinge and swivel at the elbow, comes up past 90. Yeah, not bad at all. And then it swivels. Hinge and swivel at the wrist. Her gun-shooting, sword-wielding hand does go up and down. I dig that. The left side is side to side, and then there's swivel. Ball at the waist. You can come forward, but when you go back, it acts like it wants to hit on this rubber belt piece. So you got to kind of push forward and lean back with it. Then there's some side, then twist. There's a ball going out into the hip, goes forward, goes out. Damn good range of movement there. Back. Swivel at the thigh, that is super tight. Double knee comes pretty much all the way up. Hinge at the ankle, goes back, goes forward, then forward facing pin for rocker. Articulation on Luke, there's a ball going up into the head, a hinge down in the neck. He can look up just a little bit, but his hair gets in the way. Down, a little bit of tilt, swivel. Really hindered there because of the sculpt coming down. Hinge and swivel at the shoulder, comes up to 90, swivels around, again, hits the costume right there. Hinge and swivel at the elbow, comes up a little past 90, and then swivels. Hinge and swivel in the wrist, hinge, swivel. Ball joint in the waist, comes forward a little bit, goes back, some side. It's a little bit hard to manipulate. Again, the rubber piece around this kind of snags on it as you come around. Swivel. There's a ball going out into the hip. You can come forward, not quite 90. Back, out. Swivel at the thigh. Again, tight. I don't know why both of them are tight, but whatever. Double knee comes all the way up. Hinge at the ankle, goes back, goes forward, and then forward facing pin for rocker. For accessories, Rey comes with her staff. I would compare this to the one we got previously, but I can't seem to find it. But this does seem to be darker than the original one. Still has a nice sculpt. It has the loop to hang over her shoulder. The different colors here really stick out against the base color. She holds it pretty well, but if you're going to have it over her shoulder, she's almost too short. It wants to hang down further than her feet. She comes with the pistol from the first movie. It's kind of that Ezra type situation where Jedi in training but still using a blaster. I got nothing against it. In fact, it's kind of interesting, and that's getting off of the review that's going into the movie stuff. Anyway, nice sculpt here. It's got a lot of little fine detail, and then the silver with the black handle works well against itself. It's a little bit clean, but I'm not going to grab too much about it. And that goes in her hand fairly well. She can trigger finger it, everything looks good. And then it also goes in the holster right here. The barrel goes through, stays in, not falling out. And then finally she comes with the lightsaber. The lightsaber. We've seen this sculpt several times before. The hoop on the end of it is sculpted at an angle, which is kind of different than the one we got before, but otherwise the rest of it, it's pretty much the same. Then the paint apps on it, the black on the end of the handle, the red dot on it, some gold for the activator. That all looks good. Now, just like most Black Series lightsabers, the blade does come out for, you know, just holding the hilt or hanging from the belt. But I feel like that hoop right there was angled a little bit, so it's easier to put on Luke's belt for whatever reason that may be. And that works out because Luke comes with nothing but this big cumbersome robe thing. It's made out of cloth. It's got a lot more stitch than we've seen in previous ones, but it hangs okay if you don't mess with it or touch it or try to move it around. It's really heavily sewn right through the top part right here that goes over his shoulders. Don't know if that was meant to help it hold on or something, but it just doesn't want to stay where you want it. And you can do the water trick. It'll probably lay down and get the hood down. But the most luck I've had without the water trick is to hang it on his head and then just kind of have it draped over right here. It's not bad, but not great either. I also wonder about these strings. They're on both sides on the inside. I don't know if this was meant to put there. You like tie a hoop to go around his arms maybe or something, but I suck at that kind of thing. What can I say? For comparison, here is Rey with the first Rey from The Force Awakens. I feel like this is a vast improvement over that original figure, even with the sloth eye. The skin tones are much better. The sculpt seems to be a little bit sharper, but the proportions are better on this new one too. You can see that the first Rey's arms were hanging a little bit low, a little bit long, and I'm just a fan of the darker colors altogether. And then here's Luke with the land speeder Luke, younger self, older self. For all its downfalls, you can see some resemblance from young Luke to old Luke, and I'm gonna leave it right there. But I do like how they're essentially the same size, and I like, and this is not the figure itself, but the movie, I guess, that the color palettes are almost the same between the two. Not bad. So at the end of the day, I'm happy to have these two characters, I'm happy to have these two figures, but I wish I'd waited. That's what it breaks down to. Both of these figures will be in the first assortment or second assortment, whatever. They're supposed to show up at Force Friday in less than a month. And in that top situation, I could look inside the package and see exactly what's going on. I could have avoided the off eye on Rey. I'm pretty happy with the Luke's face paint for what it is. So yeah, not in that situation, but for Rey, definitely, I would have liked to look at it before. In the Hasbro toy shop at Comic-Con, you're essentially herded through. You throw your money at them, they throw boxes at you, you're shot out the side of the booth. You don't have a chance to sit there and look because there's so much craziness going on. I let the excitement get to me for these two. I was like, yeah, gotta have them. And I grabbed them, and then as soon as I opened the package back in the hotel room, it was, wait. What's wrong with Rey? So if these pop up online, unless, like I said, you're a package collector, yeah, I'd probably pass on the two figures. But getting them makes me wonder more about the movie, which is kind of the purpose of the figures, I guess. Luke not coming with a lightsaber at all makes me wonder, you know, is his lightsaber green still? Is his lightsaber red now? Does he have a lightsaber at all? And then Rey, why is she carrying a pistol? Why does she just change her colors a little bit? Why does she stick with the same fashion? Why doesn't she have a loop for the lightsaber? So many questions, but I'm good with that. That just leads up to the movie later. So yeah, it makes me excited for Force Friday, but it makes me wish I hadn't grabbed these when I did, how I did. I like the figures, I just wish I had a chance to look at them before I put my money down. You know what I mean? So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.